Hello and welcome back to another short lecture only at Dento Tattva. Today I have picked up an important topic, that is the setting reactions in case of amalgam, one of the most important dental material topics. So beginning with the topic, we need to first understand that there are various classifications under which amalgam is classified. One of them is based on the copper content. So either the added copper percentage in the alloy is less than 6%, so it is known as a low copper alloy, or it could be more than 6%, known as high copper alloy. Now in case of low copper, the percentage is so negligible that when the reaction occurs, the amalgamation reaction, when you triturate the silver amalgam, the silver particles along with the mercury, there is amalgamation reaction. So the copper is so negligible and it doesn't participate in the reaction. Now when we talk about low copper alloy, we will talk mainly about binary alloys. Now binary means there will be two metal components. In this case, the two metals are Ag and Sn. Ag meaning silver and Sn is tin. So when mercury will react with this gamma phase, gamma is my original state, that is Ag3Sn, it will then form two more phases, gamma 1 and gamma 2. Gamma 1 being Ag2, Ag3. Ag when it reacts with Ag3Sn. Obviously there are two counterparts in this, Ag as well as Sn. So there will be two separate complexes that will be formed when it will react with mercury. So Ag2, Ag3, which is my most noblest phase. Then gamma 2, Sn78Hg, which is the weakest phase, as it is high in corrosion and it has high creep value. So it is an undesirable state which I want to get rid of. So what I will do is, I will then increase the percentage of copper. This is where high copper alloy comes into action. High copper alloy can either be admixed, wherein the particle shape is a mixture of various particle shapes are there, and unicomposition, wherein all of the particles are spherical. And in high copper alloy, the admixed one can have 9 to 20% worth of copper, and the unicomposition will have 13 to 30% of copper content. Now in the first category, wherein the percentage is 9 to 20, I need, for this reaction to occur, I need 12% of copper, and I want to remove Sn78Hg. So what I have done is, Ag3Sn was my original state which reacted with mercury and formed Ag2Hg3, that is my gamma 1 phase, the noblest phase. It formed gamma 2, the weakest phase, Sn78Hg, but because I have now a third component in my alloy, the copper content. So the Sn78Hg that is formed in the first reaction, that Sn78Hg, the gamma 2 or the weakest phase, will react with a eutectic phase, that is AgCu. Now AgCu is because of the high copper percentage, which has to be 12%. This eutectic phase will somehow convert the weakest gamma 2 phase into eta phase, that is Cu6SN5. Now if we talk about unicomposition, in case of unicomposition, we will have the ternary alloys Ag, Sn, Cu. All of these will react with the mercury and form the gamma 1, Ag2, Ag3, as well as our eta phase. So with this I will end this topic. In short, if I have to summarize, so low copper amalgam will have three main phases, gamma 1 and gamma 2, Gamma being the strongest phase with no mercury in it, that is Ag3SN. Gamma 1 being the noblest phase, that is Ag2Hg3, and gamma 2 being the weakest phase, that is SN78Hg. Now to completely remove the gamma 2 phase, I have added eutactic phase, that is high copper admix. In eutactic, it is AgCu, which forms the fifth phase, that is eta Cu6SN5. And in high copper unicomposition, there is introduction of two more phases, that is beta and epsilon. Beta is AgSN and epsilon is Cu3SN. So with this, I will take your leave. If you have any questions, please don't forget to ask them in the comment section below. We'll see you next time with a new topic for a short lecture. Bye bye.